We previously looked at the Quran's chapter 41, verse 9 and 10, which detailed how God created the earth, and verses 11 and 12, which explain how he created the solar system from a solar nebula, the sky of smoke. We also have seen how the sky of the world beautifully describes our protective atmosphere. However, these four verses 9 through 12 have also historically been misunderstood. In this post, we'll dispel two common misunderstandings, explain why they arose, and in the process not only get a very clear understanding of how the Arabic word samaa, or sky, is used in the Quran, but also, surprisingly, will unlock evidence in a mystery about how two ancient populations were destroyed. So, what is the confusion surrounding these verses? First, the Quran often states that God created the skies and the earth in 6 days. However, if you add the 2 days of these verses to the 6 days mentioned in the previous two verses, isn't the total days of creation 8? As we've now seen, the answer is no. The 2 days of creation for the earth and the 2 days of creation for the solar system are in fact the same 2 days. After that, the earth continued to form mountains and atmosphere and other features in 4 days or eons that we will discuss in another episode. The second confusion is as follows. The Quran tells us about the creation of the earth, then tells us about the sky. The verses are even connected with the conjunction thumma, which in Arabic typically means and then. Is the Quran implying that the earth was created before the sky when science tells us the opposite to be true? The answer again is no. The confusion arises from three surprisingly simple misunderstandings: the nature of the samaa or sky, the context of the verses, and the misapplying of punctuation. There are hundreds of references to the word samaa in the Quran. It can refer to rain. It can be the troposphere, which is the layer of the atmosphere from which rain falls. It also refers to the stratosphere, which contains the ozone that protects the earth from ultraviolet radiation, or the Mesosphere, which protects the earth from meteors. And as we have just seen, the sky when it was smoke is the solar nebula that eventually formed into our solar system. And the seven skies are the other planets of our solar system. Samaa can also refer to deep space and the universe and other stars, creating what we know as constellations. In the Quran and the vast majority of hadith, samaa is something above the earth's surface and almost exclusively used to identify physical things in this universe. So samaa should be translated generally as the sky, or specifically where appropriate as rain, the atmosphere, the solar system, or the universe, etc., in the places where that is what it is referring to. But we should avoid using the word heavens. While heavens is beautiful and poetic, it has a metaphysical connotation that doesn't reflect how the word is actually used in the Quran or the vast majority of hadith. The second cause of confusion in understanding these verses is the mistake of not taking into account their context and instead focusing only on the cosmology. And the third cause is punctuation. The Quran does not contain quotation marks, leaving modern interpreters and translators to guess where they are. These verses are in the chapter Fusilat, which means explained in detail. Here is a very brief, highly condensed summary of the first 13 verses with proper quotation placement. Hamim. This is a divine book, an Arabic reading that contains verses or signs explained in detail for people of knowledge. It is a herald of glad tidings and a warning, but most people won't heed it. But some people will by having faith and doing good deeds. So say to those who ask, do you deny he who created the earth in 2 eons and placed mountains in subsistence on the earth's surface in 4 overlapping eons? And also say, he applied his design to a solar nebula and created the earth and the 7 planets in those 2 eons. At this point, in the Quran, God talks to us directly. Verse 12, we created the atmosphere, beautified it with lights, and made it a protection. But if they turn away, then say, I warn you of a punishment like that which befell Ad and Thamud. Remember how the Quran connected the verses on earth and sky formation using the word thumma, which means and then. We now can see God is telling us not the order of creation, but the order that we should talk about creation. As a side note, why did God tell us that He made the atmosphere to protect us, and then instruct us to warn others about the destruction of two ancient populations? In other words, what did Ad and Thamud's punishment have to do with Earth's protective atmosphere? No one knows for sure where and when Ad and Thamud met their doom. But the Quran describes a blasting thunderclap, life-destroying winds, earthquakes, and uprooted trees. Though they were living some distance apart, they were both destroyed in 7 nights and 8 days. We cannot know precisely what caused their demise, but the destruction described in the Quran is consistent with what would happen if a large object, such as a meteor, passed through the protective atmosphere and struck the earth near these two populations. The point of this post is that while verses 9 through 12 of chapter 41 of the Quran beautifully and accurately describe key events in the creation of our earth, moon, mountains, solar system, and Earth's atmosphere, the wisdom that we gain from them is the importance of belief in the Creator and doing good deeds. I've placed interesting links on this topic in the description, as well as an alternative translation of verses 9 through 13, which include quotation marks in their proper place. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share.